Hey everybody, this will be the best clock spring replacement on a Toyota Land Cruiser on YouTube. We're going to try and keep it maximum detail but short as possible, so it's in the video, it's important. Now this is a Toyota Land Cruiser LC120 or Prado in Australia, and that's the part number for the genuine part for this vehicle to replace the clock spring. We need to remove the airbag, steering wheel, a few other components. We've got some tools ready to go. For safety, whenever working around airbag components, always disconnect the battery first, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I've got assistant here, DIY marks here, so that we can make a better video. We put the cap on the negative to cover it up, and a rag so it can't make contact. Beautiful. There's even instructions in here. You can pause and have a look at those. Long story short, keep the steering wheel centered. Don't let it move. Don't pull the pin until all the wires are through and it's all mounted. We're going to show you the procedure anyway. And wish us luck. Hopefully it goes to plan. In the interest of keeping it short and sweet, we're not going to demonstrate everything, but we're going to remove the scan gauge, which is just Velcro off the top of the dash, and get rid of that out of the way. We're going to remove the horn airbag assembly, which is done by removing these plastic covers on each side of the steering wheel, and inside there's a Torx Bit 30. We'll show you those once we get to that stage. So we're removing the plastic covers and the scan gauge. Okay. Let's just have a look at the back of that. For anyway, these really pop out really easy. If you wanted to spin it around 180 so everyone can have a look at the clips, see how it works. So pretty much unclip it from the closest to you end of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This side's got the big hook that goes behind.
That's it. Same on the other side. If you look in the side, you can see that Torx bit there. It's a bit hard to see with the reflection, but right in the middle of the picture, there's one at each side. That is securing the airbag and the horn pad. We're going to go ahead and remove those two screws. They don't actually come out, they're held in place. Just loosen them off all the way, I'll show you. We could have time lapsed this bit undoing these screws. Nice and tight, weren't they?
They were.
Where are the two screws?
They stayed in there.
That's it, that's it, beautiful. Yeah. All right, go ahead, lift it out. We'll show everyone how to lift it out. That's it, be a bit grotty in there, I reckon. So we've got to remove this little earth down the bottom, so you can go ahead and do that. If you want to gently pull that off, just give it a bit of a wiggle and pull.
I think it's best to get a little pick. So there's a little tab here that helps release this plug.
Beautiful. So that's for the horn, so the horn won't work anymore, but the battery's disconnected anyway. Don't forget to reconnect that. All right, how do we get these plugs off? They look fancy.
So we need to lift these yellow clips like that.
It might even go up a little bit more than that once you get it released. Probably able to grab it. Go another little click, or bit of a wiggle though, just eventually they come. That's it. Don't get them mixed up. I don't think you can do that. Place this sucker that side down anywhere you like, but passenger floor will do for safety. It's not like it's going to go off, but just airbag safety. Hey everybody, if you're thinking about replacing this, you can get it from your Toyota dealer for about 550 bucks. I think my trade price was, I don't know, $450, can't remember now. LSI Auto didn't have them, but they've got a few in stock now because I asked for one for my vehicle, and I think they're going to be around the $300 mark, not sure yet, but you can check their website if you need one, lsiauto.com.au, and the discount code 4B4 Diesel, same as the YouTube channel. That's for everything on their website, the brakes, the oil filters, all the best value for money stuff already, but with a discount for you, so it's even cheaper. That's where I got it from anyway, but bada bing, up to you what you do. You can use cheap aftermarket if you want. A lot of people have done that and gotten away with it. So it depends if you want to do the poor man pays twice or get another 20 years out of your clock spring. If you've been watching my videos recently, you see I've replaced this cruise control switch. It's just a matter of unplugging that and taking these two screws out. But generally you don't have problems with those, so that's a waste of time. Don't do that. It's going to be this replacing the clock spring, also in the 150 Prado, when the cruise control is not working or doing funny things. Most of the time we'll be doing 150 Prados soon. We've got two vehicles that need a clock spring, so stay tuned. That's it. So the plug top on the right, little tab, carefully unplug that. Where does that lead to now? So that wire goes off to the side. Okay, so that's all for the volume control arrangement. So all we're left with is this yellow wire that's part of that. So now it's time to take the steering wheel off. And some people will be concerned about accessing the screws on this back trim. Don't need to worry about that, because when the steering wheel comes off, you'll see them right there. Looks like a 19 mil. This is where you got to make sure it's nice and tight. And hang on, before we do this, let's mark it anyway. I'm going to go get a paint pen. Let's mark the whole thing, even though you can see how straight it is. But in the event of worst case scenario, somehow it got moved, which I can't really see that happening, but we'll mark it anyway. Just give it a really nice, fine as we can, accurate, straight down the top. And we'll let that dry. Beautiful, nicely done. And these are usually not too tight. Truth be known, we just cracked it loose anyway, and it wasn't super tight. But this is not that imperative to make sure your steering wheel's still straight because you haven't taken it off yet. But once you get that nut off and you're about to lift the steering wheel, that's where you want to make sure it's bang on, because this steering wheel is what's going to give you the leverage to make the movement. So we get it bang on, and once we move it, the steering wheel off, we're not going to be able to turn that with anything anyway because we've got no leverage anymore. Now, I don't think it's that important, but it's really important to me to make sure this is 100%. So what I do, I'll twist the steering wheel a bit extra each way because the resistance is the rubber of the tires on the ground, so that when you let it go, right, after going like that, it comes back to center, and just feel there. If it's a little bit off, it just needs that kind of, you know, get the tires moving type twist where you hear the tires squeak on the ground, and then when you go like that, you're allowed to sneeze in the video. Does that look straight though? Back from where you're sitting?
Yeah, it's spot on.
Spot on, perfect. Okay, so we've marked it, the nut's moved now, it's all good, so we can remove the nut. Well, there's a couple of different ways to do this. Some people like to leave the nut there, right? So you go back and then on a little bit, and then they pull really hard. They pull really hard. And that's so it doesn't land in their face or rip the wires off. But should we show them what we do?
Yeah.
Well, let's leave the nut there anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good safety.
We'll just give it a gentle pull. It might just come off. You might be surprised. Just give it a gentle wiggle and pull. It's a little bit stuck. So look, lots of cars could be stuck. You might need a puller. So do what you do, which is, I think, is what I do. There you go. How easy is that? And you wouldn't have needed the nut there, but it's okay to have the nut there. Now, this is a good opportunity to push it again and make sure it's 100% straight. Now, you might think I'm wasting some time making sure it's right, but getting jobs done right the first time is the easiest, most least stressful way to do things. And so there's no, oh, did I do that right? There's no thinking back going, is it right? It's just got to be right. Is that bang on, 100%?
Bang on.
All right, nut off. Put him in a safe place. That's it, and they'll just feed through there nicely. Lift it out, beautiful. Now we've got it to that stage and we've given it a bit of a wipe clean because I couldn't stand that dirt and dust. Were you okay with that dirt and dust, or you got a problem like me? You needed. So if you were working on your car, would you have done that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about this clock spring's a bit dirty? Don't worry about it, we're throwing it. All right, there's 2 screws on the front, everybody. This one and that one, as you can see, and one underneath there. Once you remove those 3 from memory, this whole thing will be loose and you'll be able to split the top and the bottom in half, and you can just drop the bottom off and lift the top up a bit, or just the whole thing's going to lift off anyway, maybe. All right, so all 3 screws are out, beautiful. That's it, just by hand, give it a bit of a, that's it. Yeah, is there something we've got to think about this?
There's a clip here somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember, it's been a while. But anyway, here's the bottom one falling out, so we can just pop that over the other side. We'll give that a clean before we put it back in as well. To be honest, that's all the access we need. But what is going on with that top one? Let's, just for our own info. The bottom trim we dropped off, the top one, what's holding it? It's moved, it's loose enough. That's all we need to do to access. There's 4 screws on the front to unscrew the clock spring. But first we'll do the 2 plugs at the bottom. I think it's just the 2 on this one. Some vehicles may vary. What's holding that? Oh yeah, there's that clip there. So you'd have to lift it up even more to pull it out, but we don't need to, so we'll just let it sit like that. Would be easy enough to get out, we just don't need to. Correct? We couldn't help ourselves, right? It's just that clip there, that's what it looks like. It just clips in. So once it's clipped up a bit, it's just kind of sitting there, and you know what, a little bit of pressure, not much. It's just a hole there, and that's what it pops into. So that's your top trim. We'll give it all a good clean before we put it back together. Thought I'd show you what everything looks like around here. Right, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, 4 screws after the 2 plugs. The black clip, easy as that. The yellow one, just as easy, or maybe not so easy.
There's a slider underneath, yeah.
Beautiful, easy
slide
peasy.
this back here.
Nicely done, thank you. 4 screws, everybody, those 4 Phillips heads, clear as day. Time to remove those, everything looks straight. There's no way that can have moved. Looks legit to me. Man, you were fast getting those screws out. That's it. That's what all this looks like. If you've got problems with your multi-function switches, couple of screws and plugs, same thing to replace those. I've never had a problem. You ever seen or heard of anyone?
No.
How good is this Toyota stuff, mate, you know? Awesome. There's the old one. Time to chuck that on the bench and get the fresh one. The old parts with the new parts before you go ahead and whatever, you know, and go, yep, no, it looks legit. Don't pull this out yet. Stay calm. It is a sensitive part, so it should be treated gently and packed carefully. If it's going to go in with brake pads and heavy items or other parts, you know, it really needs to have a lot of bubble wrap, maybe in its own little separate cardboard box to protect it. It's probably going to be okay, but yeah, it's got the little locators there. Like always, people, don't drop your screws. All right, let's see how fast you can put those screws back in. Those 4 screws in, nice and quick. Are they tight?
Yep.
Did you go over them all twice? We will. If we didn't. Let's plug this in. What do we got? Those orange ones plug into there? No, that's right. The big one down the back. Beautiful. Do we hear a nice click like that? Click, click. Looks good to me. Okay, beautiful. Trim's back in and clipped into position. Now the bottom one will go bada bingsky underneath. So leave that orange pin there as long as you can. Do not pull the pin. Once you line it up, it should just snap into place. That's it. Same over the other side. Beautiful. So the front screws are in, and a bit of an angle on that bottom one. Get it in the hole. Bit of a funny one, that, isn't it? So now that trim's back on and the scan gauge is out of the way and all that, you could probably pull the pin, but the instructions do say put it through the wheel first, so let's do that. That's all looking good, and officially it says don't break the lock pin until these are through. So they're through. I'm going to hold them in case something weird happens. No, I'm not actually. It's not going anywhere, but I'll just hold that, and you can do your magic. That lock pin's broken. So now that would obviously move freely. Good little test, all right? You can continue putting the steering wheel on. You got your cables at that end. Pretty much reverse order of how it came off. So sit that in. This is where you got to get it on the spline bang on, and do not turn it going, oh, is it right? You got to put it on and look and go, is that bang on? The look, the feel, that looks spot on to me. Spot on to you? Without a doubt, no fear. Put the nut on is the next step. So let's get the nut on there. I don't know if there's a torque specification to this. I'm sure there is, but I wouldn't know what it is. That I've never used it. When I put steering wheels on, I just go nice and tight. So round about where the mark is, look at that. So you just went by feel and it came to the same spot. Does it feel right? Would you give it a little bit more, or are you happy with that?
I think it feels good.
Good, okay, beautiful. Let's plug everything in. I like the way it felt right, and it's just past where it was before. So that's plugged in, nice click. That and that, that's all we got left to do. Is that it? It can't be that easy. We must be forgetting something. Okay, you probably won't get these 2 colors mixed up. Click, nice click. Always a nice click with quality Toyotas, a nice click. Just take your time, nice and square. Push them in once they're in all the way. Clippity clip. Take your time, people. Don't do this if you haven't got patience and you can't be gentle. Don't do, yeah, make sure it's pushed all the way before you clickety click. And what I like to do is just go like that and give it a pull and make sure it's, you know, just go, yeah. It's the same when I do the fuel filter on the rear, you know, I put the clips in and then I give the lines a push and a pull. All right, in she goes, into position. And then, can we just have a look at this? Oh, so the screws, see there, that's where the screws go in, just to show everybody, configuration. The screws stay there. They've got a little, can you see it? Yeah, it's on the other side, but it doesn't matter. Happy days.
Yeah.
They stay there. The screws might be a little bit in the way sometimes, and you might have to wiggle them or back them off a bit. Now it's just a matter of tightening them up. So the horn pad, airbag, nice and tight. Just got to put the covers on and reconnect the battery. We're in business.
The horn doesn't work.
Yeah, it won't work yet. Battery's not connected, mate. Battery, bada bing, bada boom. And it may be when you connect this, the airbag's going to go bada bing, bada boom. Boom, straight on, all the way to the bottom. And nicely, just tight enough so that the sucker, yeah, you got to go the right way. Anyway, reconnect the battery. Important tips: push the terminal all the way to the bottom, make sure they're clean. That could probably go down a bit more, actually. Was it? No, it's about there. No, it looks good anyway. You can see plenty at the top because people just don't do that. Anyway, that's a video. Don't forget, if you want to get one of those genuine clock springs, you've got to be careful where you buy your aftermarket genuine parts that aren't genuine that are aftermarket, or that are aftermarket that are counterfeit that are genuine that aren't genuine. Do you know what I mean? So you can go to the Toyota dealer and pay top dollar. That's good for another 500,000 Ks, 20 years maybe. You can get the cheap option, $50, $100, $200. But I think the genuine from LSI, which is genuine, best value for money, which is why I asked them about it. They didn't stock it. They're going to stock it now. So if you need one, don't forget the discount code 4B4Diesel on lsiauto.com.au. Let's go and start it up and see if the airbag light's gone, eh? What do you think? Airbag light? Oh no, you got to start the car. We've got the door light. Oh no! There you go. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. That's how you fix a dodgy airbag light or cruise control not working most of the time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, turn the bell on, and we'll catch you on the next one.